I don't know, man. Y'all be talking about AI is getting scary. Personally, I think the entire internet is getting scary because we are in an era where people can literally say anything. And people will run with it. Thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of people will run with a narrative that a rando on Twitter said. And I know it's true because I've seen the think pieces, I've seen the tweets, I've seen the TikTok videos of people dead ass saying,
Oh yeah, this is why Chris Paul had to go.
do y'all know who this is? Because I never knew Natalie Nakase, a former assistant under Ty Lue with the Clippers, was his girl. I never knew that, I'm sorry. That's right, for those of you who didn't know, Natalie Nakase, before she was an assistant with the Aces, was an assistant with the Los Angeles Clippers. She also went to UCLA, she's from Southern California, and all she did was come by to show some love. All she did was come through to say what up. And you see what people say? The internet's a scary place, bro. Like, y'all be talking about AI. At least AI makes fake stuff look real. Like, this shit takes fake stuff and says fake stuff and y'all think it's real. Like, bro, I don't know.
Back at it with another one. Chris Paul, is this a delusion of internet influencers? Have they gave y'all the fake truth? Have you figured out Chris Paul was trying to play up on Tyronn Lue's right? If you have, maybe you just jumped to an early conclusion, but go ahead, give him something.
Well, I'm going to tell all y'all something, man. Wake up, because this is something, it's the truth. Bad news can go around the world before good news can cross the street. All right, people want to hear bad news about everybody. So if you saying something bad, it take off like a jet plane, all right? So
yeah,
before you want to talk about something, let's get the facts straight, all right? Because I'm still trying to figure it out right here myself.
Well, just from the look of it, a veteran got dumped at 3 a.m. on the 3rd, and he wore number 3. Y'all can add that up however you decide. That this seems weird. Because when I first heard about Chris Paul like this, I initially said, man, if he trying to take my man's old lady from him, maybe he don't want to be a subordinate on the team as Tyronn Lue is the head coach. And he said, I'm going to take it out against his wife. Because niggas do that in the hood. People, and I ain't going to even say niggas, I say people do that. People will say things like, yeah, man, I'm going to get my revenge by taking advantage of his lady, So if Chris Paul, had I not seen this specific clip right here, I probably would have been more willing to lean on, man, this is crazy for, try to upstage your coach or somebody you in close quarters with. Like, you don't play those games. If you really got game, you ain't got to do stuff like that.
Right.
But then in certain areas and area codes, people do stuff like that. Like women can be used against you. So, I mean, if this the case, I'm sad for Chris Paul. But according to this latest clip, everybody who done made negative content against Chris Paul, y'all might need State Farm. Y'all might need State Farm to help you save something after he bankrupt you. If you done tried to embarrass this man's name on allegements, that's crazy. Or you might have felt like you was going to win more views, but that's fake. That's fake. And to me, that's delusional. You got to get things time to settle down. So we don't always try to cover a story the same day it dropped. Right? Just to be honest, I like to collect the little information before I make a statement. Go ahead, bro.
That's right. Get the facts, all right? Okay. I ain't never been crazy about Chris Paul. And I never really did not like him, But even if I don't like somebody, I'm not going to spread lies or rumors about him. I'm just going to be real with you. So I always give him the benefit of the doubt. But nephew, when the news broke about Chris Paul be released by the Clippers, you know what the first thing went through my mind was?
What was that?
He done stayed too long.
And I don't like to hit the lab button, but I do. A lot of these players, and that's a good point, and I'm glad you got, because I was going to get down that road at some point, but I'm glad you got it right here.
Yeah.
A lot of players stay too long, man. I mean, you don't have to be wheelchaired out, man. That idea of getting the ring is something you got to do initially. Getting it on the back end, man, that's, you ain't going to get the same respect. You're going to always be able to say, hey, I want it all.
That's
but
right.
you see what I'm saying? So that's a delusion in it.
You backing into it.
There you go.
You're not going forward to getting it. You're kind of like a ride along.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it.
I mean, right now, I'm going to say Chris Paul. I'm going to say LeBron for sure. Give me number 3 for who in the game right now that this done stayed too long.
Right now, I would have to go with James Harden.
Me too. The beard, you need to shave, man. You need to shave or something with it because, I'm just playing on the shaving part. But James Harden done been around a long. Kevin Durant.
Definitely.
You ain't going nowhere and finna make a championship team by yourself no more, man.
Hey, he just ride along.
You know what I'm saying? So they stand this long, and I understand why. I mean, you keep getting this big amount of money, and you can give less and less and less, and the more your legacy gonna get charged and challenged. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Unc.
Well, they destroying their legacy by staying that long. In Chris Paul's case, I had another thought come up about that too when that happened. I said, well, maybe they don't like the fact that he holding people accountable. It's like,
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. You saying maybe they don't like the fact that Chris Paul holding people accountable?
Yeah, that's on the team. That's what veterans do.
Yeah.
Now
that's true.
He's an old veteran. Maybe they don't like the fact that, he might not have the physical ability to do the things he used to do. And they say, well, you can't tell me nothing. You done got too old. So
and that's a good point too. That's a good point. And now I wouldn't go against it in no form, you know what I'm saying? Because this clip right here kind of going to add on to what you're saying.
Is this the real reason Chris Paul made his sudden exit from the Clippers? Forget the stats for...
Hold on, let me bring that back. I ain't had the volume right for y'all. So, hold on, y'all.
Is this the real reason Chris Paul made his sudden exit from the Clippers? Forget the stats for a second. Look at this. A viral video caught Cp3 chatting up a woman, but the second head coach Tyronn Lue walks in, total silence.
See, just from that clip right there, with the different commentary, people said Chris Paul being an Ohio player. People was ready to say Chris Paul was sitting there while Tyronn Lue out there coaching the team to a loss. That I'm sorry. Why he ended up, coach teach. I don't know what part of the game this would have been though on the real, but the internet done blew up with Chris Paul, trying to stab Tyronn Lue in the back.
Well, it do look funny. I mean, he talking to this woman, then Coach Lue walks up, and then all of a sudden it goes silent. That do look suspicious.
It could.
But it don't.
Now, maybe Chris Paul know Tyronn Lue trying to get a little, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe that, we don't know that.
Yeah.
That part never had been actually addressed or put out, rather.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I took the same video, and I was ready to jump on it then. I said, nah, I better wait. Let me see things through. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And just seeing things through, I just kind of feel like I'm glad I waited.
Yeah, because, I always say, believe half of what you see and none of what you hear.
That's right. You say that a lot.
And that's why patience, it'll show you the light.
That's right.
Most of the time.
That's right. That's right.
I've always been one of them kind. I don't believe everything I hear anyway.
There you go, Unc. Let me get them right.
The energy shifts instantly. Chris Paul's reaction is being called everything from guilty to bizarre.
It looked weird if you looking for that, but if you wasn't looking for that, if nobody put this part of that video out where this was Tyronn Lue's wife, you wouldn't have looked at it the same way. You just about to say, oh yeah, them boys really at odds, over the game or something. You wouldn't have necessarily thought that it was a cheating moment caught on camera. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's why I'm telling y'all, delusion can come from the person you listening to. Even me, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's real.
Yeah,
Action is being called everything from guilty to bizarre, and they completely ignore each other. But here is where it gets messy. Social media is exploding with rumors that the woman in the video is actually Ty Lue's girlfriend. Paul was already having a nightmare season.
See, if this why the Clippers got rid of Chris Paul, because they say, according to this clip, he was having a nightmare season, one battle averaging 3 points a night. This is what you were saying, and this is what I done said for a long time. Stand long enough to get wheelchaired in and wheelchaired out is not what you need. You don't need to stay in the game this long with this kind of wealth, right? You got to change lanes, man. Because if you go out, playing at the lowest of your career, I mean, embarrassing low, and you still under a contract, you robbing the fans, you killing the respect of the sport. You can't help them. You ain't helping no team with your jersey sales if a championship is what they really desire. But go ahead.
But nephew, let me ask you a question. All right. What would you rather have happen to you?
Mm-hmm.
You get wheeled into the arena to watch the game, or you get evicted off the team?
The worst that can happen is getting evicted. That's the worst. Getting evicted from the team, that is got to be, at this stage of this man's career, he losing his Larry Bird image, his Michael Jordan image, his Magic Johnson, his John Stockton. Like John Stockton, I think Chris overtook John Stockton for most assists at some point.
He might have.
I think so.
Yeah.
And imagine if John Stockton didn't get wheeled off the court, though.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. Like, bros, Chris Paul got a lot of success on the court and off the court. He made a lot of money probably dealing with State Farm. He got a lot of recognition. Once upon a time, I want to say he was the president of the NBA Players Association or something like that. He was part of the negotiation deals.
Yeah, he was well respected.
So he done been respected from his game to his off the court moves and the seat. Because this wouldn't be Tyronn Lue's first battle, man. Tyronn Lue had a lot of battles with women. Was it Matt Barnes or Derek Fisher? It was one of those boys.
No, Derek Fisher and Matt Barnes.
We didn't want Tyronn Lue. Oh, my bad. I take that back. That was a ledge, y'all. Sorry about that. My bad. But this go on, right? When you're around other ballers with money, when you're around other people with a wealth that could sustain that person who need that comfort, I could make $10 million more a year than you. But if you could afford anything that I could buy that person, they would rock with you too. So now it comes down to your personality. You see what I'm saying? And not just your money.
Right.
A McDonald's player, somebody work at McDonald's and somebody who drive a truck, who you think gonna have the better shot at getting the girl they want?
The truck driver.
You see what I'm saying? Money. And it's the same way with basketball. So,
but then they looking at it, to look at it in another way.
Go ahead.
All right, you got a truck driver and a guy working at McDonald's. This guy working at McDonald's might just be the overall better person.
He might be, but he still got, with that individual, he still gonna have to separate. I ain't gonna say she or he, because you know how things is nowadays. Things messed up out there.
Yeah.
I just say
Big
that.
time.
But whoever that other person is, if they can get to the actual personality and not the material power, then you can decide. And I'm glad. I'm just going to say this. On the strength of Black America. I'm going to say this on the strength of Black America. I'm glad that after the initial reporting of Chris Paul trying to get up on Tyronn's wife, I'm glad that we're getting something else now. because this make black men in what some of y'all think is power and privilege, but they got regular people problems. You know, you got problems with your wife, your woman, your girl, your homeboy, your friend, your co-worker. I'm glad that if this, I will rather this be the case than the case that we've been seeing for the last day or two.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm more glad to see that maybe this was just somebody trying to go viral versus somebody. Man, you a lot of people, this could destroy his name right now and his legacy. Like, ain't nobody gonna pick him up because he gonna try to get your girl. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, that's funny, but it's true. It's true.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad that if nobody else picked Chris Paul up in the NBA this year and he retired that day, I'm glad that at least it's on record now that ain't the truth that's being displayed. And all of y'all out there quick to jump to conclusions as what's the word? Influencers online, or you running your podcast or your show and you want to be the first to record, the first to put it out there. If you don't have all the facts, you should shut your channel down.
Right.
Right? Because you shouldn't be defaming somebody on just what you initially heard. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because if this the case, if this is somebody who's acquainted with the team, you can't say this man was playing up on her. Because I got a video. I'm going to try to find it in a minute. I'm going to try to find this video where Tyronn Lue going to speak for himself on the situation. Mm-hmm. I'm going to try to find this video where Tyronn Lue speaking on the situation, and nothing arises or comes up about him and Chris Paul falling out over a woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's low balling these brothers, man. Now, I don't respect what sports doing to our community outside of, because it's not really building our communities up for all of us. But I'm not going to come online tonight and go against somebody because of an allegement when I have no other evidence.
Right.
Now, this evidence has just been recently produced, so if you did this negative in Chris Paul's favor, you should at least take the video down or make a video and recorrect what you initially reported. So y'all can go ahead and hit my like button, the subscribe button, the share button, because I'm going to keep it real, right? I'm going to keep it real. By the way, Unc Roger, go ahead, man.
Well, you know, I've always been the type of person that I'm giving the benefit of the doubt. Some people always say, man, you give too much benefit of the doubt. I say, well, all I'm doing at the present time is just trying to get the facts before before I speak. I get the facts so I know what I'm talking about when I speak. That's all. Man told me one time, said a wise man speak because he's got something to say. He said, but a fool speaks was just to say something. And I don't want to be just making noise. So if I say something, I want to be like E.F. Hutton. I want you to stop and listen.
Right on time. And see, that's what I like about my Unc, y'all. Unc got so much information, wisdom, experiences. Y'all better absorb it, appreciate it, take it back, but definitely let him tell you what he see, because he on point. He definitely on point right there. But let me let this one finish on, and then I'm going to see if I can find this other one, man, to prove our point.
Averaging a dismal 2.9 points and shooting 32%. But reports say conflict with the team is why he left. Looking at this video, was the conflict about basketball or was it personal? Fans did not hold back from commenting on Paul's reaction. So now we are getting the real reason, a fan commented. Oh, so this is why he hates CP3, a fan added.
And see, that's what I mean, man. This delusion will run us crazy. We run into the internet for everything. The internet done got us running to find out everything. Did Chris Paul try to cheat on go against Tyronn Lue and cheat with his wife? Like, this ain't even the man's wife, for starters.
Yeah.
So the story couldn't be true on that build-up. Now, Tyronn Lue got a little player, and Chris like, I can outplay him. Bro, can you ever be more than your subordinate? Because Chris Paul probably make a better contract with, I know at times he probably made more money than Tyronn while he played the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because CP3 being one, I already know is one of the greatest point guards ever. And then you got to think, both of them boys basically played the same position.
It is.
You know, so Tyronn Lue said, man, I don't really like his style, but yeah, you know, as the general manager, y'all gonna bring me in. I'm gonna work with him the best I can. They could have had all kind of things going on.
Yeah.
They could have had all type of stuff going on to where they just didn't get down. And Chris Paul ain't no rookie trying to make the league. He was the league for a long time.
But at one time, he was the top point guard in the league. All right. But Tyronn Lue, I don't know if it's true or not. Maybe he thinking, well, this joker might be trying to come for my job. Because Chris Paul got a lot of knowledge.
Yeah, especially on the game.
Yeah, out on the court. He's really a coach out there on the court.
Mm-hmm.
He just can't move like he used to no more. But he got that knowledge. And I don't know if Tyronn Lue was like, you know, you stepping on my toes. I'm running this team. It's a lot. It could be a lot going into that you really don't know about.
And see, that's why I'm just asking y'all, as you know, anybody viewing the channel, man, give us time to build our platform, because we don't want to misinform you. We don't want to, you know, be judgmental as a lot of the information that you're watching, right? The goal is not for us to be judgmental. It's just to report on our opinion. But we want to get a collective form of information. So we might be a day or two behind the trending story or the trending topic.
But
right?
you're giving the truth.
We're giving our truth. You know what I'm saying? So if Chris Paul really a player off the court, it would have been weird for somebody to been this video recording him talking to Tyronn Lue's wife. Like somebody would have had to been looking for that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and for it to get leaked out into regular people to use this as leverage to say this is what happened to him, like that would have been that would have made me feel like this was a setup to start with.
Could have been, you know, like you say, people looking. Hey, let me ask you this now.
Go ahead, I'll give them something.
You got a movie with nothing but drama, cutthroat, deception, or you got another movie over here with soft love stories.
Mm-hmm.
So which one you think would draw the bigger audience?
That's right. That's right. That's and you definitely on point, because that's what Hollywood is, man.
What you call it?
That's Hollywood. that's how they normally set up stuff.
Mm-hmm.
After Kawhi knocks down the three,
Hold on, y'all. Now I'm gonna bring y'all another one, just so we can keep proving this conversation.
After Kawhi knocks down the three, every Clipper runs back again, so Garland just lets the ball roll again. Kawhi is slow to get up again, and as the camera pans back to the game view, Chris Paul ran all the way to the backcourt to make sure Garland picked it up, and Kawhi's not even in this shot. And you'll see that he was eventually way behind the play. So, once it got to a dead ball, Chris Paul finally goes up to Kawhi and is like, hey man, you gotta get up, dude.
Now, I don't know if this is true as what the commentary is to this clip. I don't know that this guy had an ear on the court, and this is exactly what Chris Paul's saying. I could imagine it, and if this is the case, I wonder if Kawhi's power is enough to eliminate a legend from the team. Go ahead.
Probably right. And if that is what Chris Paul was saying, that's what he's supposed to be saying. You behind in the game, you're going to let them just run some time off the clock by just letting the ball roll up. You trying to come back. You can't just let that time run out like that. And if Chris Paul did come up to him and say that, I would have done the same thing.
And see, I would agree with you right there. If this is the case, why Chris Paul got released, just gonna hunt that entity, the Lakers. No, excuse me, the Clippers. I can hardly tell them apart sometimes, man. That's how bad they done got. But if this the case, why Chris Paul gone, and then they found and then you know how Hollywood always put this drama between brothers and a lady, man. I couldn't imagine either one of these brothers really struggling just to flirt with a woman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if Chris Paul calling it out, that's going to highlight a lot of other people on this chain. The head coach, the general manager, even the $1 billion owner. it would show the world that they really don't care about wins and losses because the business is gonna boom whether they make it to the playoffs or not. Go
Right.
ahead.
And going back to this clip right here, what we were looking at, that's why I was talking about holding people accountable. Some people don't like to be held accountable.
That's right.
They can get an attitude with you, even though what you saying is right.
Mm-hmm.
Then they can't handle that. But
Yeah.
let me tell you this: what happened to me though.
Okay.
As far as Chris Paul, they saying he was checking out Tyronn Lue's girlfriend. The guy come up to me when I was with my wife one day. It's been years back.
Mm-hmm.
He gonna walk up to her and talk about, man, I'll take your wife. I said, well, brother, if you can take her from me, she ain't worth having.
I'm gonna go ahead and rock with that, man. I'm gonna rock with you on that one.
You know what he did?
What he do?
Dropped his head and walked away.
You know what? He probably didn't have enough confidence that some brothers would have took that ass you laying down the floor for him.
Yeah, they would
You
have.
know, some people saying, "Hey, man, he paved the way right to him." And in a situation like that, she wasn't there for the long run, no way.
Right.
You know, if
Right.
that was the case. So if Tyronn, if this was, in which we discovering right now that this is not, if this was Tyronn's new wife, and she interacted with Chris Paul to a level where the internet could say she was cheating on her husband, that's really not Tyronn. That wouldn't have been his fault.
Right.
You know, so
Exactly.
Tyronn Lue, as a man of stature, I would imagine him not letting that be like, I'm mad at Chris for doing that.
Right.
Now, I can see if they was a good friendship. If they had a good friendship involved where Tyronn and Chris hung out and shared, you know, conversated or whatever about real life outside of the X and O's, and Chris, you know, tried to upseat them, then that would be dirty.
Right.
You know, now Chris Paul have been recognized as a dirty player. So we can't let that shit slide.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we couldn't let that slide because Chris Paul done been a man that hit you in the balls. He done been recognized and known as a dirty ball player at times, right? You know what I'm saying? So
You're
if he
right.
dirty on the court, why wouldn't he be able to be dirty off the court?
Come on.
Now, give me something on that, man.
Well, I've seen him now. He dirty for sure. That's one thing. I've seen him shoot Kevin Durant in the rear with an elbow, and Kevin Durant went down.
Yeah.
I seen.
But you know Kevin Durant, he thin mint like Girl Scout cookies, man. I mean, but Chris Paul, if this ain't true, you already got State Farm on your side.
Oh yeah.
Now this about to be international business, man. You know what I'm saying? Because if Chris Paul being executed or prosecuted in the social media realm, which is now social media became all truth. Anybody who can record what they thinking can upload a video and can persuade your mind to believe that this is what happened.
Mm-hmm. And people believe it.
And so if you done did this damage to Chris Paul, y'all need to clean that up. Big, and you know me. My channel, my page, my show, my thought process.
Mm-hmm.
I like to roast people in the room. You know what I'm saying? But I can't get you tonight, Chris.
So he got a pass on the night, huh?
He didn't.
You gonna let him slide?
He got to slide. I can't do nothing on him, man. I really can't. I want to hit the lab button 50 times this show. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not able to do it because if this ain't his woman, it's a lot of people, faking.
Mm.
And this goes to show you what delusion look like to me, right? We can get bad information. And not just in the realm of sports. You can get it on advice, information, all type of ways where people can mislead you. Because people are desperate to get recognized.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. Now, if this is true, if he was coming up on Tyronn Lue's woman,
Mm-hmm.
I know Chris Paul, he's been known to be a dirty player and all that stuff right there, all right? But I just can't see him being that type of person gonna run up on the man's woman knowing the man might walk up at any minute.
Yeah, I mean, especially like if you at the game.
Yeah.
If it's a practice or something where everybody, cameraman, all eyes on you, you wouldn't necessarily expect to think that this gonna be, you wouldn't think that they that wide open.
That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what
You wouldn't imagine being that wide open with a man's wife. That almost he really not, but he operate like his boss because really the boss is the owner, not the coach.
Uh-oh.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So your boss really ain't your owner.
Right.
In no professional sport.
Right.
And you can have Chris Paul be like, man, you wasn't nowhere near the type of point guard I done been in this league. I don't have to take your advice. You was less than me when you played the same sport. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So just imagine it, right? So it could be a lot of conflicts go on where they don't have to agree. And maybe Tyronn Lue could have been, and I'm going to give Chris Paul some credit. Maybe Tyronn Lue just feel like, man, Chris was a better player than me and I really can't get his respect.
Maybe, but then at the same time, now, the only ones that really know how far this go back or how deep it goes or whatever, it's those two, Tyronn Lue and Chris Paul.
Mm-hmm.
It's something they may not be saying. We don't know the whole story.
You don't think somebody like Kawhi can have a lot to do with this, though?
I don't think Kawhi, he's a lot like me. Laid back, low key.
So you don't see Kawhi being a part of what happened to Chris?
Because if he was telling him to, hey, you got to get up on him, I don't see Kawhi saying, all right, you got to get rid of Chris Paul, which he was telling him the right thing. And he did it the next time. So I can't see him. I can't see Kawhi Leonard. And I don't know him personally, all right? I just go by to see what personality I see out there on the court. And, your personality out on the court displays your personality.
Well, if that's the case, Chris Paul is there to play it, man.
So you said
it's dirty. If you what you just said is your personality on the court gonna be the same personality off the court.
It reflects.
It's a reflection.
Your play on your court is a reflection of your
Well,
personality.
I mean, but see, this is what killed us for everybody who don't win against Chris Paul in this one.
Now,
This ain't his wife.
Yeah.
Now, if this his girlfriend or this somebody Tyronn getting acquainted with, maybe Chris could have respected him. If this was the case, but alleged to these videos, this is not the case. Okay, y'all?
Right.
And hopefully y'all will catch this one and maybe somebody else's video explaining the same truth. So if this is not the case, everybody who done disrespected this man's legacy, you got to apologize. Now, I ain't saying you can't challenge his on the game tactics or his wins and losses. He ringless.
Yeah, and he wasn't going to get one no way with the Clippers this year. But let me lay something else on you that I read on Smart News.
All right, go ahead.
Just take a guess what they saying could be a possible landing spot for Chris Paul.
I already know you're going to say the Lakers.
The L.A. Lakers.
I already knew it. Because he didn't get out there with Kobe and Dwight Howard. I already knew you was going to end up coming back there. And I ain't heard that online, but as soon as you ask a question, I said he might end in the L.A. Lakers, and he'll be playing in the same arena. So if this really gets pushed to the front, well, this is not true as reported on him cheating on his, trying to creep up on his head coach's wife. The word wife alone is enough for you to defend your legacy and your name.
Yeah.
So Tyronn Lue would have had every right. But if this not the case, this is Chris probably proving that the Clippers really don't want to be the big team in L.A. This is the only other thing you can really walk away from. He could expose the culture of that team. He could expose the culture of that team to where you realize Chris Paul is really showing us that the Clippers just want to be like the Dallas Cowboys. They just want to sell jerseys and tickets. If this is the case, and if Kawhi ain't accepting somebody to promote or push him, that means Kawhi comfortable already with a championship in Toronto and San Antonio.
Yeah.
Right? That's where he won. And he didn't he MVP both of those?
Yep, he did.
So Kawhi probably like, man, you ain't got no rings on your arm. You didn't get one in college or the NBA. And Kawhi could just not respect him. He might think he a dirty player or he a type of player that come to the team, funk it up, try to turn anybody, the team into his team. Everything got to go his way. So a lot of y'all wouldn't understand, including myself, that the game could really be, and you would be better at saying what I'm about to try to say.
Mm-hmm.
Your presence in front of the people in the jersey that's playing for the same cause as you. Some people just ain't gonna respect you, but go ahead and explain it.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you got a history of being dirty, you know Kawhi Leonard, he's not a dirty player. I don't think any players on the Clippers are dirty, but if you got that kind of reputation and you join a team, it could be bringing the team morale down. You know, they could get to where, like, yeah, man, this dude here, he bringing a negative energy in here. We don't need that.
Right.
I don't know for sure. That's just my opinion. All right. So
let me show you right here, then. Hold on.
The Cavs are wasting way too much time. And on the next possession, after Zubac makes his free throw to push it down to 11, Kawhi finally gets up to Garland so that they can't waste any clock.
We don't know this to be truth because of the commentary. I'm going to say that. Now, I appreciate using the video, but I can't prove that what this guy's telling us is why Kawhi decided to start playing, full court.
Yeah.
I can't sit here and show this to y'all to say, the guy saying that this is exactly what happened and look what happened. I can't say that, man. I just can't say that, but let me keep rolling.
And just yesterday, Chris Haynes reported that Chris Paul had made a suggestion about switching Kawhi off of Klay Thompson in a game against the Mavericks. On this one, Klay comes off the screen, and Kawhi had a lot of trouble navigating that screen. So Paul asked Kawhi in the huddle if he preferred to switch off of him. And apparently, Jeff Van Gundy did not like.
Now see, that's part of why they 6-16. You know, you got coaches that's on the sideline, but you got to have players on the floor that's vocal. All right, Chris Paul always have been that kind of vocal player, and stuff he's saying is true. If you having trouble guarding this guy, maybe you ought to switch.
Yeah, but at some point you're gonna have to just be like, all right, Chris Paul. You yelling out all the what we need to do, but you have not yet won, and you in the wheelchair this year, man. You wheelchair playing this year, like, and you still trying to put this show on like you just putting all. If you was really giving your all to the game, why are you still in it? See, it's other brothers with money and game, but more athletic than him right now. Like, why? I mean, look, the world don't move, man. The world is not in the same. Let me say this. The time shift has already taken place. That respect you thought you deserve, earn, or, that respect you deserve or earn in today's society, that don't make sense to everybody, man.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And Chris Paul could be this like, man, get this wheelchair player off the court. He's slowing us up. He want to control the game and slow us down and, just make it his team. Everything run through him. But, man, you have not yet won. Kawhi don't have to kneel to no Chris Paul help, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, Kawhi Leonard, out of all the other players on that team, Kawhi Leonard don't need to yield to Chris Paul. But Kawhi Leonard got his own set of battles. He don't play every season for the full season. He ain't 82 games strong. He ain't 72 games strong for the most part. You know what I'm saying? So it could be all kind of other reasons. Maybe Kawhi and Tyronn is more cool than Chris and Tyronn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because if Kawhi and Chris was cool, they might plot against Tyronn. See, it's all kind of snakes in every game you walk through. You know what I'm saying? So, but go ahead.
Well, you see, it takes us back to the beginning of the show where we said, he done stayed too long, all right? And I can relate to that. I stayed a little bit too long when I was playing, but I know I didn't stay that long. When I tell you what ran me out of there,
okay?
Because I hardly ever got my shot blocked. When I started getting my shot blocked, I said, it's time to go. I wasn't going to stay there. I had a legacy. They respect me down at the Y like I was Michael Jordan, But I left while I still had that respect. And that's what happens, like, for Chris Paul staying too long. Sometimes you bring it on yourself, all this. They let you go. I can see if they were winning. They was like 18-1, and he was giving advice and helping the team, but they losing.
Yeah, but this the big picture, right? Why walk away from free money? Now, if I was giving my conclusion to that question, why walk away from free money? It's because I realize that I'm not able to use the money to really advance society. If this money is only for me to waste, and I'm happy with just being wasteful, I want to play forever. I want to be like Odell Beckham crying about spending $8 million a year. You know what I'm saying? But as Chris Paul, LeBron James, some of y'all greats of the new game, stand long enough where people can really break you down, don't really help build you up. Because somebody like Steve Kerr, I don't know if did he stay too long?
No, Steve Kerr could shoot, and when he noticed shot wasn't going in, he got out.
And look what he did next. Now we ain't gonna go into if it got handed to him. That's a whole nother show.
Yeah.
We ain't gonna do that. And we can't give Mark Jackson more credit because if he didn't fight to get back in, or if he was blackballed out of it for good, he haven't gave us that truth. So I'm not gonna protect you yet, Mark Jackson.
Yeah, I don't know what went down there.
Right.
Since he never got another coaching job. I don't know.
But he never explained why he didn't either.
Nah.
Not to my knowledge. So I won't give you that pass. Yeah, you did. You know, you was around in the beginning of the Splash Brothers. You know, but Mark was different than Steve.
Yeah.
Steve knew he wasn't gonna be nobody until he let the players win the game.
Hey, you can have
Phil had to do the same thing. Phil gave you philosophy with Mike and Kobe, but they had to go out and win the game.
That's right. Coaching don't do so much.
You see, so even if it wasn't Steve Kerr, don't mean somebody else would have been the head coach and still them still done their thing.
Right.
So we ain't giving you no extra credit.
No.
Because you didn't pull up that jump shot.
Yeah.
But Steve didn't stay long as some of these black players.
Right. They know when to go.
And the thing is, somebody like Sam Cassell, he was a baller. He really played the game hard. He ain't had his first chance of shot yet.
And he won his championship and got on out.
So this is why when I do these shows, I don't mind talking about the game, but I talk about more than the sport. Because I don't know what's in Chris Paul's mind or Tyronn Lue.
Right.
Is it just getting a legacy, Hall of Fame legacy for being a coach or player, whatever? You know, you get your bust in Canton, Ohio, or wherever the NBA Hall of Fame is. And if you can live and die with that's what you brought to Black America, you didn't bring us shit.
Well, I had read about the issues with the front office. Now, I don't know how true that is. You know, you see stuff and you read stuff. How do you know if it's true? How? There's so much deception out here. You just read stuff and...
Yeah, but see what I'm trying to say, though. This is what I'm trying to go to. I'm trying to dive off into the deep end where you sink or swim. In the deep end where you sink or swim, no lifeguards on deck or duty. The deep end, we get trapped up in these situations. Man, he lost his job. They fired him. He trading team. That's all small talk. That's less of importance. As a fan is short for a fanatic. Okay? When you a fan to a team or when you can come out your project and say, man, the Lakers my team. You don't have nothing. You can love the Lakers and claim them as your team, but until they can pull you out of your situation, until this is a stepping stone for you to come up, that's not your team. That's just a team.
Just a team.
So when you deal with sports, this is where we get trapped off. We continuously get caught in the news cycle of the information around the team or the player or the coach, and that's important. But it's not just if Chris Paul is knocking Tyronn Lue wife down, who gives a shit? It's not making your lifestyle no better. It's no encouragement for you to be better.
And it's between him and between the two of them.
That would
That's
be
all that matters.
That's all that would be. But the bigger picture is, why would you even be concerned with something to no effective benefit for you?
Because it's drama. People love drama.
I understand it. Don't get me wrong. People do love the drama. But I'm saying it ain't.
It don't do don't do nothing for you.
It ain't gonna help you win in life. So we'll do shows like this, and it's not about the sport. Okay, this ain't me versus the NBA. This me versus a person's consciousness to see the whole thing through. That's why I'm glad we caught this part of this information versus the first end of it, the front end of it, rather, because we would have been on here going in on Chris Paul
For no reason.
right? And to be honest with you, I shouldn't even be able to go in on Chris Paul for doing whatever he done. He living his life too.
Mm-hmm.
But for y'all to lie on this man's name, that's something y'all should walk back in pride and respect of. You should be able to be in respect of Chris Paul. Say, hey, man, I jumped the gun on this. So as independent journalists, well, people started doing shows, podcasts, and things like that so we could bring the truth to the people. We can't turn into the same people that made you want to start your type of show. It's a lot of people starting shows and they'll just throw anything in front of the camera and the microphone to get your attention, try to live through it, but they never encourage you to be more of yourself. So I just feel like the states of delusion, we new to it, we growing, we serious, we not playing time. You're not going to waste time watching, listening, learning, growing with us. Hit the like button, please. Definitely hit the share button. Subscribe. Go ahead, before I close.
Well, I'm going to say this. Life is ironic, all right? We take so much for granted. Like it takes noise to appreciate silence, all right? It takes absence to value the presence of someone. It takes sadness to appreciate happiness. It takes rain to appreciate sunshine. But when we got all those things, we take them for granted. Maybe small talk, but it can turn into big stuff.
Hey, you couldn't have said it no better, man. And y'all make sure y'all go back and highlight that part of what we did tonight. Unc dropped this game. He got a secret sauce, man. And I love you for it, my brother. So until the next show, it's 2 words from me. Peace and power.
Love you.